first day of the new lockdown. How are things with you?
Yes, all good, Paul. Obviously concerned, like everyone, about the lockdown. We're open as usual, mail order, which we've always done. What we have found is a lot of people calling us up and asking for post packs to send watches in, which we can still do. And we're still on the phone speaking to our customers and giving guidance on buying watches and selling. I mean, Paul, I'm not sure if you've seen, we've now gone live with our new website on there, and we are looking to buy and sell and part exchange on any model of watch, as well as still doing repairs and all the other services. And the watch refurbishment on the older watches is very busy, and at the moment we're not seeing any change. All of our services are running as normal, which is what we're trying to keep going.
That's something that some of the viewers have mentioned in your past, that your website hasn't always been so up to date, if you don't mind me saying, but you've taken steps to put that right.
Absolutely. We've now got a number of our watches on, and we've got a fantastic photographer who is working with us and taking pictures of everything and listing stock on there.
So with the new lockdown, I mean, we're told at the moment at least it's only for, a month. Do you think that's going to have any effect on the business at all in general?
Really unsure with this. I mean, obviously people will have more time at home, so maybe it could. A lot of retailers may find, where they've got an online presence, that people are at home and looking at websites and comparing prices and wanting to buy. And if there's someone that's trusted, it could be very busy. I mean, we just don't know. We just don't know. Obviously concerned with the number of the shops not being open at the moment.
I think the last lockdown we had, which was obviously a lot longer, there was plenty of doommongers around saying that the watch business was going to go into a spiral decline, but in fact it actually was the opposite, wasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, prices have gone up, and because the factories weren't open, there were no new models coming through, was keeping a lot of the old models very strong.
What have you bought recently? Of anything particularly nice, anything spectacular worthy of a mention?
The usual suspects, all the sports. Sports are still very strong. The Hulks, the Starbucks. Some of the novelty watches, Paul, those have been coming and going. People really like the Tiffany and the pink. I've had the yellow and the green models as well, but there's not many of those. Still all the usual models, but some of the older 16610 Submariners, the 16613s, I'm finding that some customers are going back to the older sort of Sea Dwellers, and even like 16800 Submariners are quite popular. But just a whole selection like we've always had with everything.
What's the situation with the Hulk at the moment, mate?
They're still very strong. I mean, again, it's a personal thing. A lot of people prefer the green on green Hulk, the 166, the 116610 LV. They're preferring that to the new, what's referred to as the Starbucks, the 126610. People just like the combination now that they've seen the new model with the black dial and green bezel. They're going back to feeling that the Hulk is just a stronger watch. At the moment, that's what I'm finding. I've certainly, not that I've handled a few of the Starbucks. They're still a very nice watch, but the green on green Hulk, I think, is more striking personally.
And what's happened price-wise? Because I know that after they were discontinued, the prices went absolutely crazy for a few days, weeks.
They went mad up to sort of in the region of 20,000.
Yeah.
They're settling down a little bit. I think they'll level off and then probably creep up a bit like what we saw sort of September 19 with the Daytonas. They sort of spiked at over 20, came back down, and now they're back over 20 again. So I think you're going to see a similar thing with that, whereas watches sort of find their level. The other thing that's quite that everyone likes now is the new Datejust, Paul. I mean, they've done a fantastic job on the new Jubilee bracelets. The rhodium dial's very popular, the Wimbledon dial very, very strong. But just the weight and quality of the new Datejust is a very good model.
Yeah, I was in central London a couple of days back, and it was noticeable. I was in the Wonder Room in Selfridges, and every single concession there was completely empty. There were no customers to be had, but there was a queue of people outside the Rolex store, and I think that really kind of tells its own story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, exactly like you said, Paul. I mean, I get time and time again the same thing with customers. They're not spending money. They're not going on holiday. They're getting nothing on their money. So they want to buy something that they know will hold its money and may go up and makes them feel good, which is a Rolex watch.
Yeah, I've actually been doing a little bit of buying myself recently because there's no point in having any money in the bank particularly. It's not doing anything. So this week I bought a Tudor Black Bay Dark Chrono, which I'm actually wearing at the moment, limited edition. And I also decided to pull the trigger on a Bulgari original in 18 karat gold. That's now on order, and I'll give the viewers a peek at that when it arrives. But yeah, a couple of watches I've bought myself this week because basically I think the money is better invested in the watches than it is in the bank, quite frankly.
Sure. I mean, some of the things we've got, Paul, the older GMTs, the 16670s, even the older ones have been quite popular. The 16710s and the 16700s, these are quite sought after. And I mean, they're from the 90s. I'm not saying they're at an age where they're collectible, but they're becoming that way, and I can see that those going up over time. Another thing, Sky Dwellers, all the Sky Dwellers sort of, I've recently got here a steel and yellow on the leather, and the steel and rose, the chocolate dial, which there's very few around. So these are very popular pieces and just striking watches.
Now, I did a video a few days back saying that one of my tips for late 2020, early 2021 was basically any of the Daytonas on the Oysterflex bracelet, or the Oysterflex rubber strap, I should say. How are you finding that market? Is there seems to be a strong market for those watches right now?
Yeah, whenever I've had them, I've had a few this year, all gone out straight away. The white gold, the understated, elegant white gold. Some people like the rose, and you've also got the yellow on the rubber. I've actually recently this week got in a white gold 116519 on the white dial.
Very pretty watch.
2004.
Yeah, pretty
so that
watch.
was the watch before the Oysterflex came out, when they first done them on the leather strap. But again, great watch, and just people love the casualness with jeans. This one's actually got a blue crocodile strap.
Going to put you on the spot a little bit, mate, because you don't know this question's coming. Let's see what you got to say. 2021, if you had any tips, and I don't mind giving you a few seconds to consider it, if you had any tips for the viewers as to which watch to maybe think about buying early, mid 2021, is there anything on your mind in particular? Do you see a watch that is on the rise, on the increase? Have you got any hints, tips?
Yeah, I would say some of them, possibly bimetal subs. I think the 116613, the old model bimetal sub, we're seeing that really strong, and I just think that's one to keep an eye on, and also the bimetal Daytona.
That's interesting because the bimetal Daytona, I've been saying for a year, has been great value for money for anyone that wants to buy one. Hadn't really considered the bimetal sub 16613, either the LN or the LB, because basically I haven't really been keeping my eye on the market too much. But you think that's definitely a strong one for 2021?
Well, they're holding strong. It's a discontinued watch. Obviously, we know how strong Daytonas when they're discontinued. Steel subs are really strong discontinued. And at the moment, I don't think everyone's fully considered that the older model sub, because the new 41mm looks so similar, not everyone's considered that possibly the old one's been discontinued because the two are so similar. But in terms of reference, and I think when we look back over the years, you'll think, God, like that was a great watch, and why didn't we invest in those?
Yeah, I particularly agree with you about the Daytonas. I think that for a long time they've been great value. So, in your build up to Christmas now, your busiest period of the year, I would imagine, Spencer, for most watch dealers, how do you see that working this year?
I think a lot will be mail order and online. Obviously, people can look on the website and we can send stock purchases out to people. What I do hope is that the lockdown only lasts for the 4 weeks, and early December everyone can get back to normal and try and enjoy Christmas and go out shopping and all the high streets get back to normal. That's what's most important, that I feel.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming online, Spencer, and keeping us up to date with what's going on at BQW. Very much appreciate it. I'm sure the viewers will as well. I'll pop your website up, etc. So if anyone's looking to buy or sell, I'll put your personal number up as well, Spencer. They can speak to you one-to-one in person. Thanks for coming on, mate, and stay well, and I'll speak to you soon.
Lovely. Thank you, Paul. All the best. Keep safe.